Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers he plucks. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Adam Heath Avitable.
This is Dating Kinda Sucks, a podcast about dating, sex, and relationships. This week, we'll be talking about the difference between love and lust. Enjoy the show.
It's been a little while since we've been around.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the podcasting world.
I know we took a little bit of an extended break. We've been doing every other week, and we decided to skip an extra week just out of support. And now we are back because people need Dating Kinda Sucks.
People need to know about
that's what it
masturbation, sex, dating, our lives. I don't know why, but yeah.
Very important. Very important. How have you been surviving in Nashville?
I've been, I've been thriving, not surviving.
You've been thriving. Now that you're getting that dick, you're just like you're glowing now, like we're seeing on video now. That you got a little bit of a glow to you. Always
got a glow. I mean, it's so refreshing to have sex on a regular basis now, and it's also weird because we're not recording every single week, and I took a break from social media too, and I feel as if my life is so secretive right now, even though it's not, and I'm gonna talk about it, but I just feel as if it is.
Well, yeah, because when you're used to talking about it every week, and it can be a little bit hard to all of a sudden not be talking about it because it feels like you're just not sharing. There's some reason. Is it like you said? Is it a secret? Is there some reason that you're hiding?
And normally when I don't share,
what are you hiding, Sarah? Tell us what your secrets are.
I know I'm normally really hiding something if I'm not sharing.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, that's true. Usually it's like, I didn't tell you this, but like 3 months ago, this guy threw me off the edge of a roof, and I just didn't want to tell anybody. I don't know. Not literally, just figuratively.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are your secrets? What's been going on?
All my secrets. I mean, I'm having really great sex, so I think that's no secret. Where should I?
Master of None. You've been dating Master of None now for.
It's been 2 months. So this whole time with quarantine and everything, we've started from virtual dating to in-person dates, and now it's been 2 months later. And it's still weird because we haven't met each other's friends or like the normal dating things that you would do at a 2-month mark. It's not happening for us. He's still, I finish work at 5. He'll come over at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then we'll sit and talk for 20 to 30 minutes on a talking day. And on a non-talking day, like he comes in and we just get to it. So
there's talking days and there's banging days.
Yes, 2 days ago was a talking day with some banging, but not as heavy.
A good healthy, combination of both talking and banging is important.
Yeah, I never wanted to feel like he comes over and I'm just strictly using him for sex, because I actually do enjoy his company and our conversations and everything. So there's a balance there.
I wonder how many relationships can say that, where the woman can say, I'm just, I don't want him to think I'm using him for sex. Like I usually feel like the concern is typically the other way around. It's like women are being more concerned. Hey, is he just using me for sex, or does he actually like me? And you're like, I want to make sure he knows that I like him. That I just don't like his dick, but I like him too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is a weird time to be dating someone for 2 months and not being able to do the normal things. But I will say, I guess I can backtrack some and elaborate on my sexcapades, but. So we've talked about how.
Oh God, let's never use that word again.
I was just gonna throw that in there and see if you would say anything, and there it is. Okay, but so I would say 2-3 weeks ago, he came over and we've had, the regular sex, and then we've had the BDSM play and sex as well. So
Right.
a couple weeks ago, he came over and he was asking me, what I thought about sensory deprivation and if I'd be up for it. And, he was going to start prepping some stuff if I was okay with it. And I was like, yeah, sure. I'm up for trying it, and obviously I trust him enough that I know I'm going to be safe. And we've already talked about our colors and everything like that. You're frozen.
I am.
Yeah, you froze for a second there. Okay. Sorry. I guess it's weird because you're not moving there and I can't see.
Oh, I was just listening.
Okay. I was like, why do you look so... Okay, but we already have our colors and everything, so I know that I'm going to be okay. And so he created a playlist that was supposed to kind of put me in this mind.
Oh, right. I remember you telling me about this. This
Right.
is really
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I'll be interested to think what the listeners think about this.
Okay, so he created this playlist. I don't know how many songs he put on it, 'cause whatever, but created the playlist, and it's supposed to be kind of disorienting and put me in this state of mind. And before
What kind of songs were on it?
I honestly, now that it's been a couple weeks, there weren't a lot of songs that had words. It was just, it
was
wasn't
it like disorienting in a like cacophonous way, like really like loud aggressive music, or like a rock and
no.
okay.
No, it was some kind of like these, I can't even explain it. It was just weird sound. So many songs were kind of slow and eerie sounding and I was trying to kind of there was at one point I was like trying to listen to as he's like doing stuff. I'm like trying to figure out like what the fuck are they saying in the song, because it's like a chanting was going on, and it was so interesting.
Leave it to you to like get distracted from the sexual experience because you're trying to figure out what the lyrics are.
Yeah. But so before, the music started and all of that, we walked through consent and all of the colors, and I was okay with everything. And we set up my bed. So we pulled out the straps. We had condoms and lube and everything ready to go. So he put the blindfold on and then put the music in. And I was like on my couch, and I just remembered the first two songs in my mind. I was like, I'm not going to let him. I was trying to be stronger, and think, well, this is I'm not gonna fall for this, I was telling him this after too. I'm not better than this, but I can maintain, realizing where he is, and I'm gonna try to like hold strong. And then after probably song 2, I became just engulfed in this new world. I say new world because it's so different with the music playing and the blindfold on. I had no concept of time. I had no concept of where he was in the room either. There was a moment in time where he walked away and it felt like 5 fucking minutes. And there's no way it was 5 minutes, but he walked away and came back, and I can't hear him either. So I'm just chilling on my couch, have no idea. And then he started dripping ice on me, and he was rolling these, I know what it is now, but he was rolling these things on my body that were kind of cool. And of course I'm thinking, what the fuck did he pull out of his bag? Because he brought his backpack full of stuff again. It's like, what the fuck did he pull out of his bag? I don't know what the fuck this is. So then I'm trying to figure out what it is. And it ended up being candles that I had in my living room that he was rolling on my body, but it felt good, but it felt so strange. And I was just trying to figure that out. And then having no concept of time, can't see shit. And we finished on the couch, and then he got me off the couch. And this whole time I'm blindfolded and have the music in. And
this is 4 days later.
4 days later. Yeah. He gets me off the couch, and I remember being so weak. Like I stood up and was like, what the fuck is happening? And then he kind of escorted me to my bed and was guiding me. And I felt very safe, but I was like, holy shit, I can't fucking walk. Like, I don't know what's happening. And then, so then, I got tied up on my bed, and then we had sex, and it was fucking great. So
Whoever
that
thought
was
that would be the most. Whoever thought the most. I don't think. I never thought that we'd reach a point that the most mundane aspect of your story about your life would be.
the sex.
So then I got then I got tied up and had sex. That would be the part that we wouldn't really need any details about. That would be the boring part.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
I
just
will
hilarious to me.
same. I will say too that I took a pause in between me getting tied up on my bed because I was thinking, okay, well, because I prefer to have a condom on, him to have a condom on when we're having sex. And so I took a pause and I asked him, how am I going to know right now before we have sex that you put a condom on? Because I can't,
Right.
if I'm tied, how am I going to know? So he was like, well, I'm going to he was thinking about this earlier in the process. I wouldn't even say process, but earlier in our adventure.
Just
and
planning, maybe. Yeah.
yeah, and he was thinking about that too. So he put the condom in my hand, and then he like put it on, and then I felt that it was on, and then we had sex. So that I felt like he thought everything through too, but it was
That's good.
yeah, it was really enjoyable, and we haven't done that since. We haven't had any more of those types of play in our sex life, but yeah, so I want to do it again. I definitely enjoyed it. And then he took the mask off after everything was over, and I was like, my eyes. It's so it's so bright in here. I was in my own little world listening to this music and
Right.
whatever. And the other thing that I got a little insecure about was when he so I had the headphones in. Sorry, I'm jumping all around here just to explain. So I had the headphones in, and the headphones were attached to his phone, so it was plugged into his phone. And he had walked away for what felt like 5 minutes, and I got really insecure thinking, okay, well, what if he's taking photos of me without my because I've had shitty guys in the past who have done things like that. I started worrying because I felt so vulnerable in that moment of what if this trust is being broken. And so after the mask is off and we're talking about everything, I brought that up, and he was like, I would never, for one, he would never break that trust. And two,
Sure.
the phone that he would take the photos with was next to me. So there was no way that was going to happen. I was like, okay. But I mean, I obviously trust him, but it was just my insecurities coming out in that moment because of past experiences.
Yeah, and I think that can be difficult to let go of some of that baggage to trust someone new. And so far, he hasn't given you any reasons not to trust him. So I feel like it's good that you guys talked about it. That you didn't overreact. It's okay to ask him. It would have been different if you like freaked out all of a sudden, and he was just like, I didn't do anything. So
right, no, but I was internally freaking out, and then I just had to be chill and think through. Okay, you trust this guy. You know that he's just talk it through once everything's finished, because that he's not going to do that to you.
Right. Right.
But just like a weird thought that I had throughout that whole thing. Yeah. So that was, so I definitely enjoyed that. And then
he just tied me to the bed and we had sex.
And then it was great.
Can you imagine this conversation a year ago?
No, I cannot imagine this conversation a year ago. A year ago, I would tell you before the episode, Adam, we are not talking about this. I am not publicly ever disclosing my sex life to anybody. I don't want anyone to hear about this. And now I'm like, guys, get your freak on. Enjoy.
It pleases me to no end that you are getting laid regularly right now. Like, I just feel like it's been a monumental task in the making of finally getting to this point, and it's all it took was a fucking pandemic and the end of the world for you to start getting laid.
Yeah, seriously. And then, so I mean, outside of the sex though, everything between Master of None and I is good. We spent I took the day off last Friday, and we spent the whole day. We went to Rutledge Falls, which is about an hour outside of Nashville. We went there. We spent the whole day. We got subs. We were hanging out in the sun. It was really nice. And then we came back and had sex. But the sex, the sex this time is a great story. I would say great story, but it was just typical me. So we both ran out of condoms. So I had one that I got, I think I honestly got from the Love Kit when I was in Las Vegas, that free condom.
Right,
And
right.
it wasn't expired, so
Yeah.
I checked the expiration date on it, guys. It didn't expire till 2022, so I was telling myself it's fine, we could use this condom, because I just ran out of time and forgot to go buy condoms prior to him coming over.
Sure.
So we get back from the falls, and I'm on my period. Two, we have this condom, and I have no problem having period sex. Put a towel down. He has no
Yeah.
problem. He has no problem with the blood or anything either. If anything, I'm the more insecure one between the two of us, because I don't necessarily love when a guy goes down on me when
Right.
I'm on my period, because I just think I taste differently and it just smells differently
Yeah,
down there.
Yeah.
But also, like, I normally have, this is probably TMI, I normally have my period cup in, so it's not as if the blood is getting everywhere. It's not like I
Right.
have the tampon string hanging out, like the cup is there. So it's really not that. It's more of the smell and the taste that I'm concerned about for him. But he's totally fine with it. So we put the towel down. He puts that condom on, and I ask, is it fine? He's like, yeah, it's fine. So I come out of the bathroom, took the cup out, whatever, and we start having sex. Sex was great, and then he finishes and he pulls out and he's like, shit, I think the condom broke. And I was like, oh, okay. Good thing I'm on birth control as a backup, but I'm just very safe about, I don't want a kid. I don't want to get pregnant. I don't want anything. She's like, yeah, no. So he like was looking at the condom. He's like, yeah, I just think either it was too tight or I don't know. So it's like, okay, no big deal. It's fine.
His dick game is just so good that
I was like, wow,
that he blew the end out of a condom.
literally. So I wasn't gonna take a shower, and then he was like, you should probably take a shower, because you at one point had blood on your back. So, and it kind of went away in between all the sex. So maybe go take a shower. So I took a shower, and I'm just kind of getting the blood out of my vagina and just letting it, whatever. So I'm kind of figuring myself in the shower. As I'm doing that to get some of the blood out, a little piece of plastic, or not plastic,
latex, yeah.
Not plastic, comes out, and I'm like, Master of None, it's inside of me still. Like, the condom broke and it's launched inside of me. So he comes in the bathroom and we're just dying laughing. So then he pulls the condom out of the trash can and then gets the piece that I had and he puts it together like a puzzle. He's like, okay, let's see if we're missing any other pieces from
right.
just evaluating the condom to make sure there couldn't possibly be any more lodged up inside of me somewhere. And it was just that one piece, but oh my god, it was so fucking funny. And we'll never use shitty freebie condoms.
Las Vegas, just everything shitty about that. And then here's the level of there's no such thing as TMI between Sarah and I, and where we have we just have a quite a level of friendship. Is that I get a photo of a bloody condo on the counter with the tip, the broken one with the actual tip, and it didn't even faze me. That's the funny thing too. I just like, oh, like that was it. I just, because you texted me when it happened, and then the next day sent me the picture, and so that's the nature of our relationship, and we'll be putting that photo on our Patreon. No.
Well, no, because Master of None was like, get your phone and take a photo of it, just for whatever. I was like, I'm obviously gonna send this to Adam because it's too fucking funny. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't even think twice about that. I was like, yeah, sure.
No, I know. I just
thought
that was great. I got that. I was like, oh yeah, that's good. There we go. Well, that's and so are you? So you're still using condoms now?
Yes. I think. Well, he forgot. We didn't have condoms earlier this week, so we had sex without one, but we didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But now I have a plethora of condoms behind my bed, so we'll probably get back to using condoms.
You're gonna go back to using them, even though you had it. How was? Did you notice a difference with or without? With the same person?
No. Well, and my thing is too, I just, and we've talked about this personally. Penetrative sex just does not get me there.
Right.
And it's just a
lot of women.
Yes,
that's
it's
typical.
A lot of women. Yeah. So I mean, he has to be rubbing my clit and then also us having penetrative sex to really hit for me to escalate that and get close to an orgasm. But 9 times out of 10 for me to come, it's mostly from someone going down on me. So, and that's just how it's kind of always been. So I don't really notice. Maybe I'm just kind of, I just didn't notice the difference between him having a condom on and him not having one on. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say those two. I mean, you still have the vagina can still be sensitive and still be able to tell the difference. But if you don't tell the difference, I think that you're probably closer to most people, because I think there's a lot of women who say, "Oh, I can tell the difference." I really don't think you can. I think if you have the same guy, you might think you can tell the difference because people don't use condoms with one person and they might use them with someone else. But if you have the same guy and they're using a condom or they're not, I don't think you could actually tell the difference. Which is why stealthing is such like a bad thing, because you can't tell if someone takes a condom off in the middle of sex because you genuinely can't tell.
Yeah.
And like as a guy, you can tell a difference to a degree, but I mean, it depends on how good the condom is, I think.
Right. Unless so back to when I was blindfolded and had music on, though. I mean, I could feel the condom on him because I was able to feel the edge of it, when it was
right. Well, yeah.
I was able to feel, okay, it's on. But during sex, I could not really tell, with or without one. I can't really tell.
Right. And just another reminder to men out there that if you take the condom off without telling somebody, that's rape.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's make that very clear.
Yeah.
It's a thing that I don't understand why guys do that, but they do because, men are trash.
Men are trash. So I think that's kind of summarizes the past couple of weeks for me. Yeah, that's a summary. Oh, another thought with the sex that I've been having, and especially when, I couldn't see, I couldn't hear when we were having sex that time. When we finished, I felt a flood of emotions, of feelings of, and these thoughts crossed my mind that I had to check myself, that because it was so intense, I was like, I think I love this guy. I think, is this love? Like I haven't thought those thoughts in so long. And I was like, no,
love?
Is this love? You know that meme with the guy with the butterfly?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Is this love?
And the butterfly just says good dick or regular dick. Is this love?
Love? Yeah, and I thought that for a second and then had to snap myself out of it and just realize it's because it was just really intense and there's a lot of emotion involved that I'm not at the point to say yes, that is, but it definitely doesn't hurt us growing and figuring out what we could potentially be in the future. But it freaked me the fuck out when like that it was just a second thought, and it's like, whoa, what is that word?
You can also have loving feelings, like that's also okay to have, like, to experience loving feelings for someone that you're trusting and you're having physical intimacy with. Like that's not a hard thing to have. Scary. That's a very normal. Yeah.
It's just scary for me to even say the word love right now and associate that with him and any loving feelings, just anything like that in general, because of every time I say love or I love you, it never ends well. So for the most part. So
didn't you have a guy who broke up with you when you told him that?
Yeah. So
that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
fucking awful.
I have a great past. But so that kind of freaked me out, but I haven't really had that thought since. I think I've definitely, our sex life has intensified my connection with him, but I don't think I haven't had that thought again. So maybe the next time
maybe you're freaking out and banished it from your mind for a little while.
I don't know. But
yeah.
I mean, now I'm like, after that thought, I started overanalyzing one-liners he would say, or he said the line, "You're great," and I called you after. I was like, "What does that mean?" Like, I'm great. Does that mean? What does that mean? Like,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
You were like, "It's just that he thinks you're great." I was like, okay, cool."
Hey kid, you're great. Did he like chuck you under the chin a little bit with his fist? Just like, "Hey kid, you're great."
No, it was right after
No, I
he
know.
came and then said, "You're great." And
Yeah.
you said that anything a guy says a minute or two after coming doesn't count.
Yeah, basically you just have to realize that's the thing. It's just like you said, the flood of emotions, and you're like, I think I love him. Like, like right after, yeah, when we experience shame, we experience love, we experience everything, like just it's just all types of things. But yeah, usually like when you masturbate, usually as soon as you come, you're like, oh God, what have I just done? And so that's that's that weird thing that happens, and then but when you're with somebody, it's just you guys have that flood of emotions too, and being able to channel that and just neutralize it by saying you're great is a good one is a good way to do it. It just means
Have
you're
you done
great.
that? Have you said you're great after sex then?
I don't think I've Yeah, I think I probably have. I've probably said you're great. I've probably said things like that was fun, you're fun, like I think I said you're fun to somebody. I think I've
Fun.
said,
The hard F.
yeah. Yeah, fun. I love this, or something like that,
You're
just
fumbling words as you're saying the
yeah,
word
yeah,
love. Yeah.
yeah. So it happens.
Yeah. Well, good to know. I will report back with any more activities in my department over here, but I think everyone's all caught up now. So
Well, that's good. It's been a
sex,
lot of
and
catch up.
yeah, more sex.
Yeah, good. It's
Yeah.
about fucking time.
What about I know, but what about you? Are you having as much sex as I'm having right now, or
No, no, no. Although I have a really,
how?
really good story. Actually, I have two stories to share over the last couple of weeks. One was I'd been telling you that I had that person that I had a big crush on, that we had made out a little bit and had the potential to hook up, and we'd spend some more time together, and we finally had the conversation, and we realized that's not going to happen.
Hmm.
So that was, but we had the chat. We sat down and just kind of talked, and I was like, hey, listen, I think how I feel about you, and I think there's potential there, but I don't think you are in a place for that. And she said, no, I like our friendship, and I don't want that to be at risk, and I don't want that to, I don't want anything to happen to that. And that's what I want from us. And I said, okay. So that was it. I'm just because I have no problem
Yeah.
handling those things. I treated that just like normal. And the other story is, this is like out of Letters to Penthouse, basically. It was I spent the day drinking and went to the local strip club, and I have a friend that I have talked about before that she and I went out. That she says she's a lesbian, but she's also been with men occasionally, so I think she's bi. And we kind of like we're holding hands walking down the street when we were drunk and anything. So I invited her to join me at the strip club, and we were getting nice and drunk. And then
Which you FaceTimed me at the strip club, wasted,
I feel like you
at the
called
middle of the
me.
day. Or maybe I did, but
Yeah.
I knew exactly where the fuck you were. And
Well, didn't I turn the camera around and show you where I
no, no,
was?
no. It was just
Uh,
you with the girls in the background, and I just hung up and texted you, "You're drunk. Please, never
yeah,
mind. Never mind.
yeah. It was a Friday. It
Ignore
was a
this call."
Friday, and I was fucked up at a strip club, and I was with her, and then she and I were just hanging out and getting drunk, and one of the dancers came and started sitting with us, and someone that I've met before, and she's been in my house, and we've hung out and had potential plans to hang out in the future. And so we were having a good time, and we were all getting drunk, and then the dancer actually she got off work and joined us. Like her shift ended. She was a day shift, and so or mid shift, whatever. But her shift ended like 7 or 8. Then she joined us, and then we sat there and continued drink till like 11:30 that night, and then we all were like, hey, let's all go back to my house. And then, so, like I said, it's like a Letters of Penthouse. So, like
Oh,
me and
man.
then, two very beautiful women go back to my house. And then we're like, hey, let's get in the pool. So everybody strips down and gets in the pool. And I'm like, yeah, this is the best ever because nobody was in the house. Everybody like,
Everybody and you, right?
oh yeah, yeah, me and all
Okay,
three of us
okay.
get in the pool. And I was like, yeah, this is a good Friday night. Like this is gonna be one for the books. This is right there. And then the two of them just fucked each other by the edge of the pool while I floated around on a floaty, and I tried to give them space.
You didn't try to get in at all.
No, I didn't have permission. Like, okay, so like at one point, one of the girls was laying on the pool deck, and the other girl was sitting on her face, and the one who was laying on the pool deck had her legs completely spread and was kind of like thrusting her hips. And because I was just like kind of floating around, I was like, you guys need anything, let me know. And like I feel like it could have been like can I help out with that? And they might have said yes, but without explicit permission, I didn't want to assume anything. And so I decided just to be a good host, and I provided them with towels and water and
Would you like any
ibuprofen,
refreshments?
basically. And so then they did that, and then it was getting cold out, so then then we went into the house and the bedroom, and then they took a shower, and I did not join them in the shower. I let them do their thing, and then and that was it. And so I got zero sex out of that, and they both got laid, and that's okay. That's okay. But it what started out as such a promising night.
The
Ended up
Avitable
with
shower. Wow.
I know. My shower got more action than I did that night. The shower head especially, I think. But yeah, so that's what happened to me. That was my sex life right there. Is
Your
just
sex life.
Just complete disappointment. Just after a lot of buildup.
So I was telling one of my friends about your story, and
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. You didn't have the consent, and you just kind of were waiting for them to invite you. But one of my friends said, but you kind of have to he didn't say push, but he was like, you kind of have to just be right there to be like, do you like exclusively ask? Because it's always hard for the third person to get in. And I was like, I mean, but Adam's really careful about that, and that's something that I appreciate about Adam, and I just
And
but
I've also, I've done threesomes before, and they're exhausting. And so, like, also, I was like, I
have
was
fun,
okay with,
guys.
yeah, you guys do your thing. Like I said, like at the one point where she was one girl, she was sitting on the other girl's face, and then then she was just like kind of, I could have gone down on the other one while that was happening. I could have been like, do you want me? I could have, just tapped her knee and just like, I really could have. But I also feel like I would have gotten a signal from them. The body language would have been a little bit more inclusive body language, and it wasn't. It was a very, very much like they're just kind of into each other. And then when I talked to my we'll just call her my lesbian friend at this point. Call her my lesbian friend later on, and I told her, I was like, yeah, I kind of actually like the other girl. Like, I've had her over, and she goes, oh shit, I didn't know that. She had no idea. I was like, well, it's okay. There's not like there's no ownership. There's no there's no rights to anybody. Like, you do whatever you want, and you guys had fun, and that's okay too. But yeah.
Were any of your roommates home by chance?
No. Well, one was, but
I always just wonder
sleeps.
how that plays out. Your roommates come back to the house and they just see 3 naked people in the pool. Do they just pass that off as, it's another day at the house? Or they're like,
Yeah,
what
pretty
the
much.
fuck is going on?
Well, I always shut the curtain to the back porch if anything's gonna be going on, and most of them know not to, like, if that's happening. Like, if I'm doing a photo shoot.
That's like sock on
basically
the floor type.
it's the equivalent. So most people know that if I shut the curtain, whatever, if I'm doing a photo shoot in the backyard, they know not to like come back there, etc. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It was still fun though. Like, I still had a good time with everybody, and just I enjoyed being a good host.
Ibuprofen? Would you like any refreshments? Pretzels?
Like some refreshments? Can I get you?
Snacks.
Yeah. Oh, fuck my life.
It's like you knocking on the bathroom door. Everything okay in there? Do you you need anything? Lube? Anything? Okay.
Basically.
I'll be here if you need me.
Yeah, and then I found the next morning, cleaning everything up, I found a pair of panties and 2 eyelashes in different spots throughout the house. Yeah, she took her eyelashes off or lost them at one point. And and the panties were just like somewhere, because she'd said, hey, I can't find my panties. If you find them, let me know. So I did laundry. They're folded and clean and dry, sitting somewhere for next time she comes over.
Did you give him an Avitable swag bag too? Like, why
I
not?
should have given him. I should have given him the. God damn it! You're right. I missed out an opportunity to give him the shirts, and then maybe a magnet as well. A copy of my book, like just the whole Avitable swag bag.
Yeah. Thanks for coming by. Glad you had fun.
But I feel like people should only get that if I get laid. Like, I feel like that's like the thing. Thanks for us coming is what that is. Not just a thanks for coming, but thanks for us coming is where that swag bag comes.
The shirt to I experienced the Avitable home for
I've thought about that,
or whatever you call your house on Instagram. Yeah.
The Avitable camp for wayward women. Yes.
That's what it is. I can remember the exact.
I visited the Avitable Camper Room and I got the shirt. You know, not and I only got the shirt, but I got the shirt because the shirt is an accomplishment in and of itself.
Oh man.
I know. We are garbage human beings.
So no dating app usage, or you've just been the same old since coronavirus, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on them a little bit, but not to any real degree. I've chatted with a few people. I've made some, had some comments and maybe made some tentative plans, but I really haven't really been feeling it either. It's just been one of those things. People I know
Yeah.
is a lot easier than trying to get to know somebody new right now.
Yeah.
Who knows? The whole world's gonna die in a fiery ball soon, eventually.
Great. Thanks for being so
Nucle-
positive here.
Nuclear annihilation. Who the fuck knows what's gonna happen? So like, what's the point of getting to know anybody new right now? But we'll see. I've chatted with a couple people, and I have a friend that I've been talking to for a while who I've known since high school. We get along really well, and I think we're gonna maybe catch up, maybe hang out.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Sounds promising.
Yeah, we shall see.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm not gonna get my hopes up. Should probably just end up fucking some other girl by the pool instead. Wait, do I sound bitter?
You sound really fucking bitter.
I'm not.
That's
I'm
what...
honestly not bitter. I'm
Okay,
just
good.
joking. I mean, it really doesn't. It really didn't bother me. Like I had that moment of like just crushing disappointment when I realized, and I was like, oh fuck, they're just using me for my house right now. But I had that moment. But other than that, I'm okay with it. I'm like, whatever. More power to them. I was so drunk, my dick wasn't gonna work anyways. To be quite frank, like I
I
feel
was
like.
gonna ask you what. So if you got permission, you were just gonna ask to go down on one of the
Well, I would have
girls
just gone down
because
with her and then
you
maybe
meant to.
started from there. Yeah, that would have been the extent of it. I could have done that. I mean, yeah, my tongue was going to work fine, but yeah, I don't think I could have had sex with anybody at that point. I'd been drinking for 12. I was like a 12-hour day drinking because
Yeah,
I haven't been drinking. I haven't been drinking at all.
that's
So like
right.
the
I
couple
forgot
times,
about that.
yeah. So the couple times that I've gone out have been like
Ragers.
hardcore. Yeah, fucking ragers. That then take me 3 fucking days to recover from.
So
So.
like today, you're feeling a
Oh
little
God, today I'm
sluggish.
feeling terrible today because I only didn't go out for that long. I went out, last night at like 9, I think 9 to like 2. It was not that long. It's just a normal night, and
2 is late. 2 is
I think
late.
everybody wanted to do shots because everybody else is going crazy too. I feel like everybody out wants to do like they're like, well, let's do shots. Like
Let's all get fucked up because we've been stuck
yeah, we have to
inside.
quick. Who knows before things get shut down again or whatever. So everybody wants to do so. Like I feel like there were a lot of shots last night. There were a lot of green tea shots, which is what that is.
No, and I've
It's
heard of
like
them, but I don't know what's in it.
it's like Jameson with peach peach schnapps
Oh,
and little sour mix, and it tastes kind of like tea. You can't really
is
taste
it
the Jameson, the
good?
whiskey, but it
I
is
was gonna
good.
say
Yeah,
I just don't
they're
like
good.
Jameson, so I
No,
don't
I don't
know.
like Jameson by itself, but with that, it actually works out pretty well.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm hating life a little bit today.
You look like you're hating life right now.
That's great. This will be great for the YouTube video. It's like, why is Adam like half dead? Because he's probably still drunk. Is really what it is.
Oh man. Well, sober up for our second half then, bud.
I know. I'm gonna have to.
So, love versus lust, I think, is an important topic to talk about, especially in the early stages of dating, where I know I've even mixed it up and
Yeah.
become overwhelmed with feelings and thinking, oh, even like me having sex together, is this love?
Right.
So I think it's important to clarify the differences and talk about, I'm sure you probably had a lust experience that you could have confused. Maybe you're not as young and naive as I am when it comes to feelings of love. But I think this is one that, with all the emotions attached to it, you're easy to jump to love instead of recognizing it as lust.
I think that this is one reason that it's so important for people to take their time in like relationships and especially that people get engaged too fast and married too fast and everything like I mean like Dirty Dancing. Remember who's now married?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Who's now found somebody. Is that I think that there's just a situation where you have to you have to make sure that that those feelings stick around because that lust might be that first flash of the feelings and it might not it might not last. You have that honeymoon period, and then you have to really, do you still want to see that person a year from then? Do you, 2 years? How do you feel? And I had a friend who actually just got engaged after dating a guy for 9 months. I think they got engaged, and then like 3 months into the engagement, she realized that maybe she didn't really like have the feeling she thought.
You didn't love him.
Yeah, exactly. She was just like
Mm.
going off that high.
Yeah.
And so it's and I mean, I'm the worst about that. I mean, I take things slow, but I also like I say that I fall in love with like just a smile sometimes. Like, there's so many times I'm like, oh, I'm in love, and I'll be
That
like
is
with
true. It's been a while, but yeah, you have said that
Oh
before.
yeah,
Say
and
that, yeah.
I'll be with Lisa or whatever, and sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, I'm in love." She goes, "You're not in love. You just like her freckles or whatever, And so, but I'll be like, "No, I'm in love. I'm in love with her. I want to have her babies, And so, it is. But I completely that happens all the time to me.
Yeah. But that's less though, the physical connection, the physical attraction versus the emotion. You don't even really know this girl. And that's the emotional side that love brings.
Right. Exactly. It is there is that you have to have a strong connection that's going to last through shitty things. Like it's almost better, I think, sometimes to have like people will have you can have genuine love for someone and still not love them too. You know what I mean?
True. It's not that romantic type of love, I guess
Right.
is where you're getting at. Yeah.
But I don't think we should be afraid. I think the one important thing is it's important to recognize when something is lust and when something is love. If something is going to be just a short feeling and something's going to be a longer, more long lasting feeling. But I think it's also important not to be afraid to use the word love like you are. Like you've had bad experiences.
Yeah.
And like we talked about in the first half, but like tell the story again about the shitty ex that you said yeah, what happened exactly? I mean, I remember
I
the
did it.
broad strokes.
Yeah, so I mean, there was one ex where we had a really fun night out, and I said, I love you, and we had been dating for at this point on and off for probably 2 years, and I said that, and he
Okay.
said, I just don't feel the same, and I don't know if we can continue this because like I was feeling, I loved him,
Right.
and that was the one experience. That was the second person I've ever said it to. And then the third person I said it to, we were like breaking up. And I stupidly was like, I already gave him a Valentine's Day card that said, love Sarah. And I had already kind of expressed minor, I toyed around with saying it a couple of times and it internally freaked me out. And then on
Right.
the call when we were, because I was getting broken up with on the phone, I said, it sucks because like I love you and I feel like you love me too because you said something to this person at our holiday party that you were in love with me and maybe I read it wrong, but I thought you loved me. And he was like, I
Yeah.
don't. And that was fucking heartbreaking. So yeah, those have been my experiences saying, I love you, or yeah.
Yeah, and I
Have
can
fun
understand
with
that.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I had my affair, it was something where I, told her at some point, like we were like after being together for a while, I was like, we'd already been kind of best friends, so we had like that type of love, and then it turned into, yeah, like that I love you, and she's like, I love you too, like I'm madly in love with you, and this is a huge thing, and that what started our whole affair actually was when we were still just friends, nothing had happened, and I got mad at her one time because she was being kind of shitty. And so we were on a trip to a party for bloggers. We'd traveled to Kentucky for this big party for a bunch of bloggers. And I spent my entire day or almost a whole weekend talking to other friends and just kind of left her alone to do her thing. And at the airport, I just remember she smoked and she wanted to go smoke. So we were sitting outside on the curb while she smoked. And she said, that she'd always thought in her life that there would be her husband and me, and that if he wasn't around, I would be there for her. And kind of abandoning her for this weekend made her realize that she loved me and that she was in love with me. And it was like out of a fucking
Wow.
movie. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, that's some movie shit. Yeah.
It really was. And I was like, oh, I'm in love with you too. Like that was my immediate response. And I was like, but I don't know what to do about that. And so then for like a week, we kind of just tiptoed around it, and then finally, this is such a fucked up thing, but finally her husband texted me. I was like, goes, gosh, you guys, I don't know if you guys are having a fight or something, but because we were very like, it was weird because we both had said these things. He goes, but he didn't know that. He just knew that she was acting weird. And he's like, I don't know, like, I feel like she needs some time. He goes, I've got the kids tonight. Why don't you like, I feel like you guys need to talk. So why don't you come pick her up and like, you just like go talk or whatever. So I did.
Just damn.
Drove all the way to the beach, and then we ended up like walking on the beach holding hands, and then made out for the first time, and like for like a couple hours, and made out, and yeah. And then the next day she worked for me, and the next day, which I know, total shitty thing that she was my employee as well. And then the next day came to work at my house because I had my office set up out of my house. I had told all the employees not to come in except for her, and that's when we had sex for the first time. Like she came in the door, and like as soon as she was in the door, I don't think I really had a chance to do anything. We just started making out, and then went right to bed and fucked.
I don't know if I knew the backstory of the Kentucky thing. I just knew.
I mean, I feel like I might have said it at one point, but yeah. So like I was all from this, and so like. So there was a motorcycle. I was trying to just.
I heard it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I had, but yeah, the context, like, as I had kind of a crush on her for a while and didn't know what to do with it because I was married and and nothing. I figured it would just be a crush and that was it. And then, but when she also said she was in love with me, I was like, holy shit! Like this is like something. And it really felt, it felt very powerful. And then when we had sex, it was incredible. Like it was the best sex I've ever had in my entire life at that point, because my sex life before then had only been with my ex-wife, right. And it was not good. So it was very much a like genuine love, and there was a lot of lust too, because then we would, like, as soon as we had sex, we're like, oh, we're actually sexually compatible too. Then there was like that lust and the love together, which combined is like this fucking powerful force. And then eventually we had to both get away, but that was hard because I felt so strongly for her. Like I was in love with her. It wasn't a lust feeling. That when she decided to try to make things work with her husband, because he found out and everyone gets separated, I started getting a divorce and all that. And then when she decided she was going to go back to him and try to make things work, I basically would spend my days with my wife at the time, just like normally, and then she would go to bed and I would literally like curl up in I've told this, curl up in the fetal position under my desk and like sob for like hours because I was like, my heart was just shattered into a million pieces. And that was a genuine, from being loving. And it took me a while to finally get to the point again where I could tell somebody I loved them. It took some time. And then the next person that I told that I loved them was her name was Jessica from San Francisco, the girl that I was dating, who then essentially ghosted me that one time, and I had that complete nervous panic breakdown, anxiety breakdown, and complete panic attack as a result of that. And like when I called her a million times and everything like that, and that was in the beginning of my post-divorce life, and I still hadn't learned a lot about how to handle things, and now I'm just like a old cynic who lets everything roll right off his shoulders and nothing bothers me anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I also tell people I love them. I mean, like my friends, like I say, I don't mind saying it. It's not something I try to be very effusive with the word love, because I don't want it to be something that I associate with this stigma and the trauma that I've experienced over the last 10, 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I tell my friends I love them too, but when it's a guy, I freeze.
Right.
But I also think with you talking about your experiences, I also think a lot of the love experiences that I thought were love were probably more lust than actual love. The guy that we broke up over the phone, we only dated for 4 or 5 months, and at that point I had already felt that love for him. I already said, I basically was saying I love you to him, and even though it was a breaking up stage of that point, but I think it was mostly lust. And because I had all of these intense emotions about just getting a text message from him and wanting to see him, and I was so infatuated with him and thinking, I love being associated with him, and
right.
Those things I felt at the time were love, but now looking at it now, I think it's definitely lust. It was so surface level. We didn't get that deep emotional connection. We were working on getting there, but we never got there. And I was already so quick to say that was love instead of just taking a couple steps back. And now I worry that because so that ex-boyfriend who was the musician was the last person that
fucking musicians.
Fucking musicians, man. But you know what? He's happier now. I was gonna say he's in a better place, like he's dead. He's not dead. He's dead to me. I said that, I was like, wait, no, he's not dead.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. No, but I'm thinking, so the last time I had really intense emotional feelings towards someone besides the musician was Sergeant Slaughter. And it's so similar when I look at those two people, how I reacted, and I was so ready to, I wouldn't say give myself to them, but you know, like make it work and throw myself at this relationship we had and have intense feelings, but it was all surface level shit, you know, on surface level, especially with Sergeant Slaughter. It was all butterflies and thinking the what ifs of what if we make it work when he comes back from wherever fucking country he went to in the military and whatever. And what if, you know, whatever. But I didn't ever we never had really deep conversations. It was a snap of the fingers. It was so sudden that all of a sudden I really liked him and I was so infatuated with him. And it was so great when we were fooling around and, you know, that was there, but there was no love. And I guess now as I look at I wouldn't even say relationship with Master of None. Now that I look at that, I don't necessarily have the butterflies are different. And I worry that because I don't have the same butterflies I had with the musician and Sergeant Slaughter, that Master of None is what's wrong with me? Why don't I have those exact same feelings that I had with other past relationships? But I have to remind myself, those might have not been the most healthy thing that I had in the past.
Yeah, I don't think they were the healthiest. I think especially with Sergeant Slaughter, you were he was gaslighting you almost from the beginning.
Yeah.
And so he was emotionally manipulating you. So your feelings of butterflies were more about, oh, like I just want to, like I feel like I could just make him happy. Like it was almost like because you were being manipulated essentially. Where this one, you're actually being treated as an equal. You're being treated as like an honest partner, and you know, even just being handled like very differently. Like everything he does is considerate and respectful, and you're so not used to that. I can see that you're not getting.
Yeah, I don't know how to act at all.
Right.
I ask, is this normal? Like, does he like me? Is this? Why don't I feel the same? I wouldn't say shitty feelings. Why don't I feel the same feelings I felt in past shitty relationships? Is this a sign that this one's a healthier adult relationship than my past things that were mostly just lust? I don't know.
I think it might be, and the funny thing is I think you also have plenty of lust too, because we just said in the earlier half that you want to make sure he knows that you're into him for more than his dick, you know. So
fair.
And you're telling me at one point that you just like sometimes he comes over and you're just like, all right, fuck me, you know, like you're just like you're ready to get laid. So that you've got the physical, you know, physical intimacy, and the thing is that you do want to pay attention to those feelings. Like you want to have that thought of, oh, you know, how does this person make me feel, and do you get those butterflies, even if it's a good connection? And sometimes you don't. I'll say with Dirty Dancing and I, for example, like I really liked her. Like we really got along great, and you know had a lot of fun, and I enjoyed her time. I enjoyed talking on the phone. There were a lot of these positives, but I would say like there was a reason I didn't feel too awful when she told me she started talking to somebody seriously, and then immediately got engaged to him, because I think she had that feeling. And some of it I think is lust, but I also think she maybe had a connection that just was a little different than what she and I had. And I was okay with it because she and I didn't have that maybe level of connection on that to that degree. Because like Tinkerbell and I had a little bit more, where you know we would, like, when we get off the phone, it'd be like, you know, we would talk, you know, for hours and hours and hours, and we would just lay in bed for hours, and we had more time together too than I did with Dirty Dancing. But the feelings were a little bit more there with Tinkerbell instead.
It's funny that you say that though, because I've looked at a couple articles that try to dissect, because it is kind of a gray area of you can have lust in a relationship and have love, and you want to know the differences. If you know it's a short-term thing, to not think it's love and just recognize it as lust. But what you're saying of the long conversations and like staying in bed and some of those things, in a couple articles I read, it was that classifies as lust. Which,
does it?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Which I found interesting too. Of you're always, I guess, the lust part that the article kind of focused on with those actions was that you're constantly thinking about, okay, when can I be on the phone? When can I talk to them next? And I don't know, just craving the next interaction with that person and trying to spend a long time with them. And I'm like, I don't know if you can like necessarily separate the two out in every
Sure.
instance.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. I think that's probably damn near impossible.
Yeah.
And because I feel like wanting to. So I probably should have read the articles that you read too, but I didn't. But the article about wanting to talking to someone on the phone was lust.
It was. No, I'm gonna have to pull it up. It's just
No. I mean, just like I just explain it as you understood it. Like I just you don't have to read. We don't have to read the article. I was just wondering.
it was like lust. It was like one of the first things you want to spend all. I guess it's your intention behind the action of talking. It was like you want to spend all night talking to them because you want that company. And I'm like, but you would want that company to a certain degree with love too, right?
Yeah, I could say I would say so as well. Because talking on
Yeah.
the phone, I feel like I guess, and I guess that makes sense. A lust doesn't necessarily mean sex. Lust just means they're maybe they're using lust to describe almost that honeymoon period too,
Yeah. Like,
where it's before the bloom is off the rose.
yeah. So it states two people deeply in lust can easily stay up all night enjoying themselves in each other's company, but it won't take the stimulating conversation keeping them awake. Two people in love, however, are just interested in each other's minds as they are in each other's bodies.
What is a phone conversation? That's just talking to somebody.
That was underneath, like, you want to spend all night talking.
Right.
They're never stuck. So it seems so great. Like they list that as a thing for lust, but then it's like, okay, but you should want to talk to that person, whether you love them or it's just lust, right?
Lust is before you fart in front of them.
Yeah.
And then it's love after that. Maybe we can start our own rule.
Pulling the latex out of my vagina.
Yes.
It was all lust. Not saying it's love, but I'm saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just like my bloody vagina and what's up?
Yes.
Comfortable with the not so pretty parts.
I think that it also depends on the person and how comfortable they are with just love in general, not necessarily love between with a sexual partner, but just being able to be loving. Like for some people, like they embrace just love, they can love everybody, and I think that's definitely something that can be it can be confusing, because someone who's very loving, you might meet them and then you might think that they love you like that, and they're just a loving person. That's another level of confusion there too.
Another point that was brought up that I've really never considered is how you explain the other person to people. So if you're saying words like, we went to the movies and then we went here and we spent whatever, saying we, according to this, we is more connected to love than saying him and I, we did this, and separating it out is more lust, which I just kind of call bullshit on that too. So what? Yeah. We're gonna dissect how I talk about the person that I'm seeing. And
I mean, I guess on a subconscious level, if you're thinking we, that does make sense. But also, it could be that you're saying we because depending on who to whom you're speaking. Because if it's someone that you already knows about the other person, but if it's someone that you're just maybe you haven't talked about this person a lot, and so if you say we, they're like, who's we? Or if you're like Master of None and I went out, that's just describing. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's just a word choice.
When I talk to you about Master of None, just personally, I'm always saying, yeah, we did this, and then, but I've also referenced, him and I have whatever, and I'm like, wait, so one is lust and the other one's love just by how I refer to someone in a sentence? I think that's
I feel like that's dumb. I
don't know. I'm like, we're getting way too deep into the certain words that I use on my relationship now of what it is. I think at the beginning you just need to be quick to not think it's love and let it take time, which is what we always say
I think
too.
time
Yeah.
is the most important thing.
Yeah.
I really think that's what it boils down to. I think it's like the same thing for anything. There's a what is the thing for comedy is tragedy plus time. Like, you like there was a comedian who made a 9/11 joke the day after 9/11,
Too soon.
and
Well, I still think
and
it's all too soon, but
yeah, but I mean, but like with comedians, it's not like there were. I had a private, I was part of a private Facebook group that was all comedians, and whenever any tragedy happened, we would all be in there, making jokes about it because it's just like that's how we deal with things. That's how we deal with tragedy. But the further away the tragedy is, the easier it is for normal civilians who are not like fucked up comedians
right?
to enjoy the comedy. So the longer it takes to get to that point, and I feel like that's really what it's like with lust and love too. Is that lust is like a fire that just like burns up and then burns out, and then love is more of like you turn it on the grill and you're gonna let it sit for a while and let it preheat, and so it's you have to give it time. And if you still have that feeling, and a year from now, like, you should never make rash decisions. Lust is like it's just like a boner for your heart is what it is. So you should never make a rash decision when you have a boner. And like, you never
That's
think about
solid advice. That is just overall solid advice.
If you think with your erection, then you're making the wrong choice. And so that's what lust is just you have to let the boner go down and then be like, oh, do I still feel the same way?
Yeah. And this dating master of none is I can't even.
This should be our sticker next
sticker. The next sticker.
Lust is like a boner for your heart.
Actually, I'm wondering what the image is going to be there, but we'll figure that one out. It might just be like a femur bone. It might just be like a femur bone, bone. I don't know. Anyways,
that was a terrible. Oh my God, Sarah, what the fuck?
I'm rusty over here. No, but I will say too, with past people that I've dated that I really liked and had a lot of lust for, I was so ready to jump into a relationship because the fire's burning out, so I want to kind of lock it in before it fades away. Where now I like the grill analogy too. If it's there and it's still simmering and it's still hot, there's no need to try to fuck it up and rush it when you know that it's still going to be there over time and you're still developing it. I always worry for friends that I see or former friends that I see that they're single for a couple years, they meet someone, and 2 weeks later they're in a relationship with someone. I'm like, wait, so you've taken all this time? And they're like, oh no, but I think, I really am starting to love him or whatever. And that's the confusion of why it's important to notice the differences between those two things of, maybe you don't. And I made the mistake too of, maybe you don't really love him. It's just the newness, the butterflies, the lust is there. And it could slowly burn and be love, but there's no rush. I think that's the overall message is there's no rush to get married after X amount of months of dating or get engaged after less than a year or whatever, because those things are more lust driven than love driven. In my opinion, anyways. What are we stopping for?
Someone just came in, so I was just stopping so I wasn't going to be mid-conversation and have the sounds all in the background. And what were you just saying?
I was saying love versus lust and jumping into relationships.
Yes, I have friends that drive me absolutely crazy because they will be in a new relationship every 3 months, and it's so obnoxious. And I'm just like, I really like. I actually just started laugh reacting every time they post they're in a new relationship, at the relationship. I mean, I just that's all I can do, and because they think they have to know how dumb they are, like they have to know how fucking stupid they are, because they're like madly in love, and all of a sudden they're like passionately broken up with this person, and it's never like it's scorched earth every time.
Broken up.
You mean like scorched earth? Like they despise them, like an angry passion, like they're like not like a like they fucking hate that person all of a sudden. And so like that's just toxic humanity in both their cases. But I can't imagine anybody wanting to like when someone wanted to rush into a relationship is actually it's kind of a red flag.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think I always just want more clarity of what the other person wants and where it's going, especially when sex is tied to it, because I know that it gets so much more emotional for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I we've never promoted rush into a relationship. It'll be great.
Right. Yeah. First one across the finish line is the winner. Yeah.
That's not how it ever works,
No,
ever.
it should never work that way.
Mm.
But what else do we want to say about lust and love?
I mean, it feels like this should be a pretty self-explanatory topic until you're actually in it
Yeah.
and you've been lonely / single for so long. Someone gives you attention, you start getting emotions about that person, and then you're just overwhelmed with those feelings and mistake it for something else.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest learning thing that I've ever taken away from falling in love and being in lust is that it always takes more time than you think it is, that you think it's going to take.
Right. Right.
And even now with Master of None, it's been 2 months, and I'm actually really, I like where it's at. There's not old me after 2 months. I think I would be really fucking mad that I didn't have a title attached to what I was doing with a person. And now, although like I would like more clarity with
Yeah.
like in the like, I do want a relationship at the end of the day. But with how it's progressing, it's not eating me up inside like it would past me of like, well, this needs to be a relationship. That's not this is a relation. I would be more vocal about it, where now I'm just like, I'm happy. And do I really need the rest of everything associated with a relationship? Because I feel like I'm good.
I think it's also like these are weird circumstances. I would say that if it wasn't during the pandemic and all these other issues, that after 2 months you'd definitely have the right to have a little more of a title. I think 2 months to 3 months is a good time to decide that you're from
True.
going from dating exclusively to being in a relationship. I feel like that is a decent amount of time to figure out if you are with it. But these are extraordinary circumstances right now. This is not a time that those decisions are easy to make because life isn't normal. So you haven't had a normal experience. Like you said, he hasn't met your friends or you haven't met his, just because there's very little
Yeah.
socialization going on.
hmm But I still think like old me, who would be like driven by lust to like
Yeah.
keep the fire alive, would be like, well, to keep the fire going, we just need to jump into a relationship, which I think a lot of people outside of coronavirus do a lot,
Right. Right. Right.
a lot
Oh,
to prove
absolutely.
their worth, to build more feelings of love, to
It's like people who have a baby to save their marriage or whatever. It's just the same stupid
yes,
thing. Yeah.
yes, same fucking stupid thing. Yeah. Team no
Mm.
kids, but
Team boner lust.
all right. What about from you? What do you think with your love and lust
I mean,
thoughts?
I feel like we've covered it pretty well. It's one of those things that I like. I've kind of, not that I put up walls, but I am so set in my ways now that if I like somebody, even if I really have feelings for them, I'm gonna wait before I even tell that. I'm not gonna I don't let my hopes get up. So I don't give in to that anymore.
Mm.
And it makes me maybe a little bit more
Sure.
no, I was going to say probably a little more cold-hearted in some
Ah.
situations. Just
Never mind.
because, yeah, I mean, just because I can just kind of shrug and be like, all right, well, there's always somebody else, even if it's someone that I'm really into. And because,
Fucking do that too.
huh?
Like, oh well, if it ends, because I'm so like
Yeah.
used to everything ending anyways. I'm like, oh well, if it ends, it'll suck, but I'll find somebody else eventually. So
And I feel like
I
that's the approach that you should have, is that there's not just any one person out there. That's ridiculous. There's no such thing as the one. And even if there are such things as soulmates are designed to maybe help us grow as people. They're not necessarily people that we need to spend the rest of our lives with. And so there's just literal hundreds of people who you could be a great match with, that you can experience deep love with and have a healthy relationship with. So you shouldn't try to force it with someone that you might only have lust with.
Yeah.
So.
Well said. You cold-hearted bitch, you.
That's right. And well, how about with that? We remind people to visit our store at datingkindofsucks.com and buy our new stickers.
Buy our new sticker about boners too once we create
I know,
that
once
one after
we create
this
that one, that'll be
episode.
the
So
next
we'll
sticker
get to
pack.
work on that. Yeah.
That'll be our next sticker pack for sure. And yeah, if you enjoy this, and we want to hear your thoughts on love and lust, you can feel free to let us know. You can email us at datingkindofsuckspodcast@gmail.com.
We will post since you can't really see the stickers as we're talking about them. You can check them out on datingkindofsucks.com, but we'll be posting them on our Instagram at datingkindofsucks and our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/DKS podcast, which is also another great way to be involved in the Dating Kinda Sucks community. Post your questions. Maybe we'll prompt another thing about love versus lust and people can share their experiences with that. We have our own personal Twitters and yeah.
Yeah, on personal Twitters. If you are listening to this, you can also follow us on YouTube, which is youtube.com/datingkindofsucks.
You can see the mics covering our faces.
Yes, you can see the mics covering our faces. You get to see our eyes. It's like with that old show Home Improvement where Wilson was just looking over the fence the whole time. Yeah.
That's you. Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, basically. And you can also support us if you want to for $5 a month at Patreon, and that helps us with everything we do. Patreon.com/DKS podcast. And finally, if you are listening to this on an iPhone, please go to Apple Podcasts, and leave us a 5-star rating and review. Those are very helpful for us, and they help us rise in the rankings for Apple Podcasts. They give it, and that actually helps us with other podcasts. Weirdly, the higher our numbers are, the more places like Spotify, et cetera, give us like info to put more details about us, our who we are as hosts, et cetera. So it's very helpful. So if you would leave us a review, that would be fantastic. And
you can also follow us on Spotify if you're not a big Apple Podcast person or you just don't have an Apple or an iPhone. You can follow us on Spotify there and download our episodes and listen every week or every other week or whenever the fuck we're doing.
Yeah, I know exactly. Right now, who knows with this robot? We're gonna stick to our every other week schedule is our plan, and so we'll be back in 2 weeks with a brand new episode. And thank you for listening.
Until next time. I don't know if that was a strong
one. Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fucks on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.